Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, when we come back to us over here, what the heck was that? That was a freebie. If you know, you know. One of the things that we might not think about when you're talking about Kershaw is high-end Japanese-made kitchen knives. Every time that I've been over to the warehouse, and you got to picture this, when you go there, when you go to the warehouse, because you will, you walk in the main entrance, and there's a huge wall of just nothing but chrome. And then when you get close, you look at it, they're these right here. The Shun line of knives. These are made in Japan. Some of the technology I don't understand, but he does. So let's talk a little bit about these. Now, let's get out of the way the first thing that's kind of obvious. In the kitchen, it's really nice to have good knives, right?
Like
you can have
ones.
cheaper knives, but it's nice to have high-end knives that will do everything that you want. Number one, it's a safety feature. Having a good, sharp knife is very, very important. You might not think that a super sharp knife is safer than one that's not. It really, really, really is. Don't ask me how I know. I'm missing part of a finger for a reason. But these have some pretty interesting technology, and I'm going to try to see if I can kind of highlight. You can see that there, that blade. There's actually something special about that. Tell me about that.
Okay, so most of these blades are multi-layered, different types of steel. So in this case, we have a nickel Damascus, like a sandwich on the outsides, and you have a thin core steel of what we call a VG Max. It's a very high-end Japanese blade steel. The thinner Damascus just protects it, makes it a little more flexible, and then that cutting edge is that really hard, really tough VG Max material.
Okay, so there's an insert, basically,
yes,
of steel that is it, so would it be harder?
So it allows it to be a really hard blade, but because the actual core steel is thin, it keeps it flexible and less likely to break.
Okay.
And so that's why we have that softer nickel Damascus on the sides.
So that helps hold the sharpness in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. Being a little harder, some of the composition, that's part of why it holds the cutting edge.
Okay, which is so important. I've got cheap kitchen knives. I mean, I'll just admit it. I've really got, compared to this, I've got garbage. I'm sharpening mine all the time to the point to where the blades are actually a little bit deformed because I've taken so much metal off just to get them sharp again. Not that you don't have to, I'm never going to say that a knife is going to stay sharp forever. This isn't a Ginsu commercial, okay? Knives do lose their edge. If you use them correctly, they'll last a little bit longer, but just overall use, blades lose their edge. That's one of the nice part about Kershaw, of course. Even if you don't live here locally, they'll sharpen them for you. You can ship them in if you want, or just drive over and get them sharpened, which you know, if I had a full lineup of these here, that's what I would do personally, just because it is, you know, they are high-end. I mean, not high-end where you're talking $400 or $500 a piece, but at the sale, you know, some of these knives you can find for under $100, right?
Yep, that's correct. And even for the Shun lineup, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And if it weren't during the sale, that is not the case. You know, we're not going to get into specific numbers, but I can tell you that much, that you're saving a significant amount on these sorts of knives. So let's start with this. Like, well, okay, we're doing the Chevy Silverado Tech Tip. If you were to purchase a lineup of the Shun knives, is there any tips that you could give? And you kind of gave us one already before the segment even started. Tips that you can give us to maintain it and take care of those knives for a long, I mean, literally a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things we recommend is using a really soft wood board. This is what we call a hinoki wood. It's a Japanese cedar, and we make them, obviously, but there are other ones out there. If you can't find one of ours, using a soft cedar board like this, that just maintains your edge because you're not cutting into something that's going to roll it, going to chip it. It helps you keep your edge for longer. The other thing about these knives is if you think about them, a lot of us like to put things in the dishwasher. With these knives, we generally don't recommend that. And if you think about it, I mean, think about like your nice deer rifle. You're not going to throw that in the dishwasher. Or you're going to get some, Hoppe's number 9. You're going to get, you're going to swab it. You're going to clean it. You're going to get a silicone rag, and you're going to take care of it. These don't require quite that much maintenance, but clean them, dry them, put them back in the block.
Right. Don't throw them in the dishwasher.
Don't throw them in the dishwasher, please.
I mean, there's a number of reasons. You got different levels here. This is actually a really interesting one. I've never seen this before. I'm going to call this a niche knife, okay? And the only reason why I'm going to say that, I don't know if you can see the real subtle serrations there. This is specifically designed for sandwiches.
That's correct.
Okay, please enlighten us all like you did me earlier.
So you look at this knife and it's a bit unassuming. It's humble. It's a kind of a funny shape, But what this knife is designed to do is that it has these great serrations like a bread knife. So this will cut your bread, cut your French bread, whatever it is, cut that nice loaf that you have. And then this longer blade with that rounded tip will reach all the way to the bottom of your mayonnaise jar. So if you've got your Dukes, if you've got your Hellmann's, you got your Best Foods, if you've got that big mayonnaise jar, you remember that. I mean,
well, of course I do.
Just dig all the way to the bottom and it can reach that. And so you can make a whole sandwich with this one knife.
I love that.
You cut the bread. It's very sharp. You can cut your tomatoes, get them really nicely, finely sliced. Lettuce, whatever it is you want, all with one knife.
Okay. Number one, I love the forethought of that. How, thinking ahead of what all those things, instead of having 2 or 3 in order to make a sandwich, for crying out loud. But this is also as high end as you can get. Same technology that we were referring to here with the insert steel.
Yeah.
And then Damascus, not Damascus blade, but just that same technology where it's wedged in there.
Yeah. So this is we kind of do it 2 different ways. We have one that's kind of like a sandwich, where we have the thin course sandwich in between the Damascus. And in this case, we have what we call a composite blade. I don't know if you can see that on camera at all. I'll try to angle that for you. But this is actually like 2 pieces that are put together like a puzzle. So they're puzzle pieced together, and we have a copper braze weld. And so we have 2 different steels here, our spine steel and our cutting edge steel. And so within this lineup, these slightly cheaper Sora lineup, this is kind of the bottom end of the lineup here. And
entry level.
And entry level, I'd say, but also still professional grade.
Right.
So the Sora lineup, we have a glass-filled nylon handle. We have a VG10 cutting edge, and then I forget what the spine steel is. You'll have to forgive me for that. But again, these still have a nice weight. They're nicely balanced.
Yeah.
Classic profiles, and again, tons of bang for your buck in this particular lineup.
You even mentioned that the handles were weighted a little bit just to give you a little better feel for it being the entry-level line, because if you get to the high end of it, you're looking at more something like this. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
What is this handle made out of?
So this is a diamond wood. So this is a black laminated wood. It's got enough resin in it that it polishes up nicely, and it'll resist water. And this is the same kind of thing here. So I mean, going up this lineup, it really depends what you like, and especially if you're kind of a simple guy like me. This is a solid AUS 10 steel. It's also a great blade. This is a nice boning, and you can even use this for a little bit of fillet work, but this is mainly a boning knife.
Sure.
It's got some flex to it, but it's relatively stiff.
Gotcha.
So this is our Kanso line. These have an African Wenge handle. The Japanese call it Tagaya-san. And they've got this stone-washed finish, so it's real simple. It's real easy to maintain. It's actually one of the only solid steels in the lineup. But I use this one in particular, this Asian utility. I use this every day.
Gotcha.
All kinds of things, cutting apples for my kids, making sandwiches. It's just a great big, useful blade.
Now, Ryan, I know we got to cut to a break, but this is one that we didn't talk about. This is the style of knife that gets used 99% of the time at my house. Tell us a little bit about that one. That is another Damascus blade. And
so this is our Shun Classic line. So this is again a nice nickel Damascus with the VG Max, but this is an 8-inch chef, and this is probably one of the most popular patterns you'll find out here for kitchen stuff. It's kind of your go-to for all kinds of different things. Again, thin enough and wide enough to slice a tomato, but you can also cut your steaks, your meat. Yeah. You can do all your kitchen prep. A lot of people just use an 8-inch chef like this.
Yeah, I mean, we literally use that style of blade for like literally everything. Yeah. From chopping up the lettuce to taking care of the meat and everything in between. So, okay. So that's the Shun line of knives. Yeah. And really, a lot of people, when they go to that warehouse sale, that is where they're going. Okay. Oh, yeah. They are going directly to that to try to save the money for the kitchen side of knives. Also, very popular Christmas gift thing as well. And of course, when we come back, I want to talk about the zero tolerance line from Kershaw. Not been confusing to me in the past, but I was a bit, it was a little confusing for me. I want to take that confusion out of it for myself, and that might take some of it out of it for you as well. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.